So, welcome back, my lords and ladies, to the North Remembers, episode 4, Prodigal Son. And they called it King of the Narrow Sea. Another lazy name with like one small reference to the episode. A small part of the episode, but they give a big reference to with the name of it.
Yeah, but I think that their naming convention usually is, it's like albums, like they'll pick a song, like the single, and usually that's the album name.
Yeah.
Now, if you're real artistic, you'll have something, the album name, and then none of those songs are named that.
Yeah.
It's like a theme or something, you know? But, yeah, so I think you're just more artistic with your episode naming than they are.
Well, maybe they have really epic names, and they're like, well, we might want to save those really bitchin' names for, like, finales, you know, like season 4 finale. Because, like, that was a bitchin' name, but we don't want to throw that one out too early.
Yeah.
That one's like season 2 finale material. So it starts with the proposal pageant.
I love that you call it that.
That's what it seemed like. It was like a fucking... She called it a pageant. Or somebody called it a pageant.
I heard it a tour.
Well, he called it a tour too, leading the tour. And yeah, it's basically like she was going around.
It's a pussy pageant.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's like going around and they're all like, I got this many goats. My house is this big. You should come like be my wife. And like some of them, they're either hella too old, like that one dude. She's like, oh, how was it like knowing my great grandmother?
Which I'm pretty sure it was the high house or whatever above Sir Kristen, because they say Sir Kristen was the father of a steward, or the son of a steward.
Yeah.
Under Dondarrion.
Yeah, and that was the Dondarrion. Yeah. And that was Baratheon's bannerman, because you were...
And they were at Storm's End.
Storm's End, yeah. And that's why he was sitting there, like, telling her, that's not ladylike. Like, come on. Be a little nice. So these guys came all the way here to, like, dote over you. And she's like, I don't care. They're old. Or, oh, and now look at this one. He's a fucking kid.
Yeah, little Blackwood.
And he's like, you'll be very safe, princess. And they're like, okay.
And the Baratheon punk. He's like, yeah, you guys really helped out the people with dragons back in the day.
She needs protection. She has dragons, you moron.
Yeah. What does he call him?
Cunt. He calls him cunt a couple times. Twat. All the good English ones.
Yeah.
All the good, proper English insults that are like, wow, that's just... And that's like an everyday insult.
And then he got punked by that little kid.
Oh, that little kid, like, disemboweled him. It looked like it was like, up here.
It was a good kill shot.
Yeah.
Sword.
And they're just walking away like, okay, we're leaving now. I'm done. Now they're killing each other over me. I wasn't going to give myself to either of you, you idiots.
That would be at a Baratheon house.
That's awesome. And he's like, put those weapons away, you idiots.
Yeah.
Twats or whatever. But then she's like, yeah, so she's coming home early on the big sailboat, which was awesome. And then, boom, Daemon just like, whew,
Just
to fuck with
it's
her.
like icing, like in hockey. Keeps going.
Even though it like knocked her over and like fucking domed her shit on the side of the boat.
Right.
Could have killed somebody. I don't know. I've had a lot of trips and falls and it hit my head. So that's how I saw it. Like, oh.
Yeah.
He's like, ha 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 ha. They'll think it's funny.
Yeah, it'd be like if on like the road like back to Winterfell or something, like if Rob like rode past areas and like just swatted him upside the head and kept going, you know? It's like equal to that.
So then Daemon returns and they like prep. The king gets his crown on. The guards are all like fucking standing ready. And even people gather.
Yeah.
So it's not, is it meant to, like the king takes it as almost hostile, but is it meant to be hostile for everybody?
Well, is that what they mean when they say things like, you haven't been at court lately? 'Cause it's always a bunch of people now they're talking about at court, you know?
Yeah, that's that's where
they
they
ask the king shit. Or
yeah. So they have the meetings, but yeah, the court is like where people come to go. Okay, well, this is happening in this part of the, my town, and this guy's not giving me a fair price for this, and like. They both were sitting, okay, well, why aren't you giving him a fair price? Well, his shit's fucking bullshit. And then the king, makes a decision.
Yeah. Your dragon rode through and burned
That's
down
why
my flock of sheep. Can I get reimbursement?
Like, no. or yes, or probably yes back then. But it was like that was what the king's job was. That would be a shitty job, especially if you were like Robert.
It came with the perks though. Like the perks outweighed the shitty job.
Ultimate respect. Everybody had to listen to you. But that's the thing. They only listen to you as long as you're scary. Like you have to have some scary. Oh yeah, and let's mention his hair. Damon's hair.
Definitely got
yeah.
Off.
Yeah, just like D chopped his hair right before winter, which is weird.
I sweat all year round. It doesn't matter when it's up. I got sick of it.
Oh,
I decided I need to be an adult and stop having that fucking.
Got our swag on.
Oh yeah. Fucking dragons.
Yeah, fucking dragons. All right, so it leads into Daemon. No, so Daemon walks up and he just walks up with the crab feeder's weapon. All the guards hold their weapons out. Well, yeah, wearing that weird bony crown. And then he's walking up, and all the guards just like immediately like, whoa, okay, buddy, step back. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm his brother.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but you've been
also,
gone for
I'll fuck you up. You haven't seen battle. I just got through the fucking shit.
Yeah. And he's like, shh, add it to the chair. He's like,
yeah, and it was a hammer, which I thought maybe was like what the crab feeder was using to stick people in.
That's would make sense, and it's awesome. That was what he used. That was his torture tool, his mark, you know.
Also, it's possible that he had dragon scales. That's maybe why he was fucked up. You had the theory that maybe he was burned.
He had a golden crown. He knew. He seemed to be afraid of fire.
And they call him Prince, like Prince Drahar or something like that.
Yeah.
Drahar. I don't know his name.
But is that like just the title he took by being like Prince of the Triarchy?
Right, or something. I don't know. They really kind of failed on his backstory.
Well, they got pounded out in a couple episodes. Especially with their time jumps.
Yeah, I was just saying, with all the time.
I don't know, you could have fleshed that out for 2 more episodes, but it would just be fighting.
Yeah, I guess you get like an hour and a half episode instead of an hour.
What are you going to have Allison and all them people doing during that time, you know? Like,
right.
So Daemon knows how to play the game, obviously, because he bows right away and it's like, there's only one true king, your grace. And I like how it shows Otto, like, him and Otto just like eyeing each other the whole time. Like, Otto's like, what the fuck are you up to? And he's kind of like looking at Otto like, yeah, that's right.
And he's probably heard what Otto's been up to in his absence.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, sweet. Then it goes right into the garden party.
No, is it the garden party?
Yeah, it's right in the garden party where the king, or basically the king won't acknowledge the princess anytime she tries to talk. Like, they're all happy Damon's back. He says, okay, cool. We owe you a debt. Off to the garden party. And he's just, like, telling happy stories, drinking, whatnot. And Allison's, like, trying to be all queenly, Maybe you'd like to see the new drapes. And it's like, yeah. He just got it back from killing a shit ton of dudes. And first thing he wants to do is go see the new fucking drapes.
Tapestries.
The new tapestries we got in the hall. Like, I haven't even gone to see those yet.
One time I see it was when they were gifted to us.
And then the princess just tries so hard to be like just smooth it over. Like, I'd love to see him. Well, then you shouldn't cry.
Yeah. As him and his brother keep joking and laughing.
And you said that there was a.
Because you gotta think those are completely different relationships for Viserys. His brother, he's grown up with, fucked around with forever.
Oh yeah, joked, and
then his daughter, who
he's trying to tell to be a certain way, proper.
Yeah, she's not doing what he says. They both lost, mother-wife situation, and both had to go through that. And he didn't console her, but was consoled by her best friend and shit like that. Like,
yeah,
there's just some weird ass relationship. Viserys just kind of got a fucking weird thing going on.
Oh yeah, he's got a bad situation. No wonder he doesn't make it for too long, huh?
Well, and then, like we were talking about, was that, we'll see that later in the episode when he's all getting fucked up.
Yeah, oh yeah. But, okay, so then he's like, okay, be gone. And then Allison kind of feels bad and goes to talk to her, basically to explain to her the reason why your dad's pissed is because you left the tour early. Like, she's like,
took a lot of time and money to set that shit up.
Yeah, like, this isn't easy. And she's like, well, I don't think it's a very fun idea to be made a prisoner in a castle to squeeze out babies and, like, inadvertently, like, slammed the shit out of the queen, and then she's like, that did kind of look sad because Allison was like, yeah. Kind of like, yeah, that's what it is. I didn't think it was going to be that shitty either. But
yeah. Well, the thing is like, they didn't really show, like, she almost, like, realized that
I don't like,
fuck.
Like, that is all I am. That is all I am.
She was happy until that point.
Yeah. Until
like, thanks a lot. I didn't realize.
It was an epiphany, like, I never looked at it like that before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really go anywhere. I really do just get, like,
and you think me and the king are just having fun in between fuck sessions?
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Obviously, he's not interested in tapestries like I am.
Okay, so then she goes off and meets with Daemon a little bit, and she kind of explains the same thing. And he seems to be a little bit more understanding, but it kind of tells her the same thing. So she's like, I don't want to be sold off for some big fancy castle for my dad. And he's like, there are a lot worse things.
Yeah, like he's been around the world. He knows how bad it can be.
Oh yeah.
Like Allison was just trying to like level with her, like, hey, we're kind of like, you know, ladies or whatever. We're not peasants, so like we might get betrothed to someone, or we might get a pick between two. You get a pick between all of them.
Yeah.
And then Damon's like, you know how bad it really could be. Like, you're lucky your last name.
Like
you have it,
like Allison was sugarcoated for you. Like he can get really bad.
Yeah.
You can get born into this shit where you're a fucking slave.
Get born in the mines or something like that.
Some god awful place like that across the narrow sea where you're like, okay, this one's a miner. He's nice and hefty. She's pretty hooker. And it's like that's what happened.
Yeah.
You got sold, which would suck.
And he showed a lot more of the disdain that we see for his actual wife.
His brown bitch, he called her. I wonder if they're ever gonna show her.
The veil? Yeah, it's gotta come in
at some point.
Down the line.
It's gotta come in at some point because we obviously know that that's not where he ends up. So it's gotta come in at some point where he either just, or is it just where he's like, whatever. Well, keep the veil, bitch. And I'm just going to go about my business down here.
The fact that we're seeing that we have much older Rhaenyra actors.
Yeah. You hear her voice. Well, so far they hear her voice and they keep showing a preview. We haven't actually seen her in an episode, but they keep showing her in previews. So obviously, and they said the big time jump is coming. Oh, yeah. Millie is leaving after the next episode. Not this episode we're talking about, but the next episode.
5.
She will be done, so that's when the time jump will officially take place.
Well, we might not see it till 6.
We might not see it.
She might go all the way through 5.
Yeah, well, I think so.
And
probably
6 to just start off with
the older actress, yeah. But so obviously, yeah.
So I was gonna say is because they're like significantly older, the character seems like maybe that'll jump down a few. We already have some younger Targaryens that are born, you know. So maybe it'll jump down a few and it'll explain I'm not going to talk about who she weds or says she's going to wed because that's later on in the episode, but she will have children. And, you know, maybe over that time jump, she'll have had several children already. So like, then we can start getting into the Targaryens that we already know. You know?
Or I've heard of, at least. So, oh yeah, that's weird. The big time jump and all them kids. Because it did it with Aegon. Yeah. Like they had Aegon was a big deal last time, and now it just shows like
brother or sister.
Yeah, or whatever came after brother or sister, and it doesn't even show him. And at that point, he's probably another 2 years old or 3, I think. He's about 3.
Probably 3.
So I guess it's not much has changed for him. He's still kind of a little
still baby.
Still knocking into shit and doesn't really talk. Don't. I ain't gonna be king. Like, no, you're not, you little bastard. The council meeting is next, and so the sea snake is basically just like...
Yeah, we forgot to mention that when Daemon comes in and throws the hammer down with his crown and shit, he goes, you know, where's Lord Portals? He's like, you went back to Driftmark.
Yeah, so that's basically...
That leaves an opening on the council.
Ooh, it does.
Maybe that's why we saw Lannister there.
Though the 2 people opens. There was 2 openings.
Because there was Strong,
Night's Watch,
who looked uncomfortable while they were discussing fucking Portals shit.
Yeah, first.
Yeah,
the first.
We already had the theory that he's been spying.
That he's been spying because he's very pro that union, And if it's not, how would he not benefit? Like, he's like, I'm just trying to serve the realm. But he's like, once the king's made his decision otherwise, you're still going to push that same agenda just in a different way. It's like, why? Obviously, do you really love the realm that much? Or is...
It's also kind of weird, like how, I guess it's not weird to think about because of how much they covet it or whatever, but like the High Sept is on the council.
Yeah.
Usually there's a maester, I'd assume. Like, that's normal.
Yeah.
There is in both seasons.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But like the Pope, but basically,
their
equivalent of the Pope is sitting there talking about the politician leaders.
Or the bishop for you LDS folk.
Yeah.
We won't call you Mormons because you don't want to be called Mormons.
I don't know who. No.
Silly Mormons.
No. The Sept.
So the High Scepter, or whatever his name is, the Grand Maester, but he's not on the council.
No, the High Sept from the church. If he's on the council, then that's the equivalent of the Pope. And to the Mormons, that would be like your fucking
Bishop.
No, the head dude. What's the head dude? The head of the Mormon Church.
He's the bishop, or not bishop, the prophet.
The prophet. Yeah, that's what you would call it.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say earlier. Obviously, I'm not a follower.
Obviously, it's been a few years since he's attended the Mormon church.
Any church that.
So basically, and he's been taking over the stepstones, and he plans to wed his daughter, who the king was like, no, she's 12 or 11 or whatever. Well, now they're gonna marry her off to the.
Well, that's a few years later. She's getting closer to the.
Yeah, like
teens.
Yeah. And so it's to the Sea King of Bravos, which is the Free Cities, which
the Sea Lord of Bravos, and so that's basically the two major navies combining.
Yeah, the big side on the one side, and then the biggest one in the Seven Kingdoms, and then that's okay. So it's like if they do that, we have to have a wedding promise of our own. We have to. And then
with Corliss.
Yeah, with him, basically.
I guess you could do it with the Sea Lord, but that's a little weird. You know.
Yeah.
Corliss is kind of stepping out of bounds, wedding across the narrow sea. Like, that's a weird kind of.
He's desperate to hold on to something.
But he is Targaryen, so he kind of just like, fuck y'all.
Well, now they're trying
I guess he's not Targaryen, but he has Targaryen blood.
But you know what? They're also making themselves look weak in that aspect. Is like, now, okay, I said no to your daughter, and you got pissed. So then my little brother helps you out of your problem, and you don't even come back to pay your respects like he does. You just go about your business, wed your daughter off to make yourself more powerful over here. And now we're going to give you my daughter to make peace. Like, okay, now you're making him feel real fucking tough.
Yeah.
He's running the show now. Now I got the Sea Lord of Bravos on my side. And now the king comes running to me, going, here, have my daughter. Because I don't want to be cut out of the action. Yeah, don't cut me out of the action, man. And he's like, okay, maybe this wait and see game worked. It took a couple more years, but I'm in a way better spot than just having my daughter marry the king.
No shit.
Because he's on his way out.
Yeah. That was a fucking badass maneuver. Yeah,
yeah, it was.
It's like, you turned her down. Someone else wanted her.
Yeah. Gotta do what I gotta do, man. Yeah. I can't feed her forever.
So fucking Rhaenyra, she takes off, right?
Yes, well,
she says
she's basically sitting there like when she hears that, she's just like, fuck. Yeah, and she just goes back to her room where she leaves the meeting. It's not over, and she's just like, I'm done with it. I'm out. Which they're finally like letting her sit there and
not serve them
and not be serving her drinks and stuff. She's actually sitting there like a normal, part of it. And then she's just like, you know what? I've had enough. I'm out. And then she goes back to her room where she finds the bag of stinky commoner clothes. I thought they were dragon rider clothes at first. Like, that's because she smelled them at first. And I was like, oh, it must be like Daemon. And it smells like Daemon. Because I knew it had Daemon written all over it. It was a little predictable in that way. I was like, obviously it's going to be him.
Yeah.
So I assumed it was like, it stinks like a dragon. But she did make a repulsed face. Upon second watch, she did go like, kind of like, ugh. So I was like, well, if it was dragons, all the other people commented that she smelled like dragon, but she didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
That's something she enjoys.
Badge.
Yeah, so she wouldn't have been like, ugh. So I was like, okay, they're commoner clothes. And then was it like a map, a little hidden map.
Well, no, it wasn't even a map. It was just like a drawing showing her the arches there, like
Right in
behind
front
her
of her.
bed or whatever.
Yeah, like right in that
And
room.
she fucking goes over and it has an arrow pointing to one, so she goes to that one, like presses on it. That's like a trap door.
Oh, and then it's like, boom.
Yeah, and then it's just one way,
Big old,
Goes down to the
Secret
dragon
tunnel.
head with all the.
Oh, yeah, like
candles.
their like religious spot or whatever with the big dragon thing.
I don't know. You see him at
Dragon
you
shrine.
see him at the Godwood a lot too.
Yeah, the gods would. So
Yeah.
they believe in the old gods a lot back then, which was cool. The Targaryens even.
Well, Valeria's more. Is it? I always had this question: is the old god related to the red god somehow, or the fire god, or the light, whatever?
Oh,
it is?
the Lord of Light?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. There was this one little thing I played there. I wish I could still find it. I can't find it anywhere, and that fucking tweaker stole it from me. It was Game of Thrones game, and it was based on characters, just like characters in the book, and it was like right alongside the first season, but it didn't have any of the main characters.
Like one of those tall tale games.
No, it was actually an RPG.
Oh.
But there was one character he played named Alistair, and he was a bannerman for the Riverlands, and he had become a priest of the Lord of Light. And it talked more about the Lord of the Light's religious shit.
Yeah. Well, because it's like those are the two that like I feel like are like
Unexplained.
well more realistic in that sense. You know, like you don't hear from any of the seven. You know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you have things that you could believe.
Godswood was
Whether you know that
directly
could-
tied into the Raven, three-eyed Raven.
Yeah, that's the magic you do see. You do see
And
magic.
which is kind of like what the northern or the what's what I'm looking for wildlings, they kind of know and believe in that shit.
Yeah. Did that incantation? Was that an incantation that she put on the swords at the end? The red one
Yeah,
to
basically.
burn them all. That was
Yeah.
badass. Anyway, off the wrong season. Anyway, so she sneaks off down the little secret tunnel.
Stinking of dirty hippies.
Commoners. And then Damon's like, okay, he's all hooded, looking badass. Let's go hit the town. And they're just walking through the streets. People are like, in the back alleys, pouring fucking booze. People bumping into her. Watch out, boy! God damn it! She's just loving it. Like, call me boy. I can like walk around. This is what people really do. This is awesome. And then comes to the point where
He takes her to that show.
yeah, and then she's like, oh, this is what they do. And it's like heavily, it's got a pretty hard slant it rides that she's not going to be good and that the people are not happy with the choice of her being the successor.
It reminds
Especially
me
now that, no, they were cool with it seemed like, until her brother was born.
well, it reminded me of like in the old series when they were making fun of Tyrion and someone had to tell him like, that's you they're talking about. And he's like, wait, what? Little monkey fucking rat or whatever. I don't know what they called it. It was funny. But yeah, she's like, wait, like, and she at one point she even like boos, which I thought was a little cringy.
Well,
No,
you gotta think she's over 18 at this point. If she was at 15 at the beginning, and it's been 4 years,
Yeah.
she's 19 years of age. Granted, when you look at that actress Millie, she does look young,
Yeah.
and even when she is like in the real world, the actress herself, unless she puts on like heavy makeup, like eye makeup and stuff, she looks young.
Yeah.
Like I've seen a couple modeling pictures where she's got a lot on. I'm like, okay, she looks a little more her age, 22. But then I see her with like out makeup and she's just like smiling. And I'm like, whoa, like you could get pulled over with her in your car easy. She would have to pull her ID. She gets ID'd everywhere, guaranteed. Maybe not now that she's a famous actress, but if she was going to any clubs or anything before all that, she was definitely like, okay, are you sure that's not fake? Like, let's get the black light on this fucking thing. I would, because she does look really, really
She
young.
does.
So yes, she does have the drink, and then walks around. Then it kind of cuts in between. It cuts in between that, and then like the king back at the castle, just like he's taking a bath, and he's covered in more sores. It hurts. And his wife like
Tells the
Nurse
maid or whatever
to get
she's
the fuck
like,
outta here.
So give me that.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, you got a kinder touch. And she calls him husband, which is, yeah, I guess, is that loving? Is that not loving? Because you
For
said
all those who
before.
don't know, we filmed this whole fucking thing already.
Yeah,
And
so we had to redo
something
this.
fucked up, and we're redoing this.
So we might reference
he
that later.
initially was like, "Oh, I find it kind of romantic," and
that she takes care of him. And
yeah, and calls him husband. And I was like, I feel like when she
Kinda
says
cold.
husband, it's a little cold.
Yeah.
It's not like my husband. She didn't say my husband. She goes, "Oh, thank you, husband."
Yeah,
She
kind of
doesn't
like a
call him
term.
Viserys. She doesn't call him love, dear, anything like that. She's
It's like, sure thing, boss.
yeah.
At work, sure thing, boss.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah. Oh, that leads us to that part. Which
So
is
yeah,
also
it's flashing in between. So he gets the bath, and she does that, and then she goes off to. Well, she takes care of the children for a little bit, and then they take her
Yeah,
and goes to bed.
she looks stressed out. Like that more of a realization of what the princess said. Post what the princess said about being stuck in the castle. She's just sitting there in a big open room. The baby won't stop crying.
And I think you
shaking
do
it.
see Aegon running around a little bit right there.
Yeah, like he's running around, and then she's holding the newer ones.
Yeah.
One of the newer ones, or maybe just the one. I don't know how many it
I
is.
don't even know if she had twins. They didn't specify.
Well, I just thought that maybe she did, and she did look Prodigal as
Oh,
hell.
Prodigal before.
But I know they had the big dresses, but still, it's like, damn,
Yeah, big bitch.
that's gonna hurt. And it's not the baby, goddamn, it's still a pretty big baby too for.
Yeah,
how
so
big it
she's
is.
looking really not content.
Yeah, she's looking like she doesn't really care for her life. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of the honeymoon phase is dried up, and she's not as special no more because she's giving him what he wants. She's giving him the heirs, and now it's just tea parties and nobody's gonna.
And she has to appreciate it because she's the queen now.
Yeah.
Like who wouldn't want to be queen? You're married to the king. What
Yeah.
more
What?
could you want?
Yeah. Your son is gonna be king.
Yeah.
Or your stepdaughter, who's also your best friend. Like you got it pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta let the old man come in and grind up on you like once a week or.
Rub some of those sores up against you.
Yeah. Whatever. Fuck. Sacrifices.
But then it flashes back to Rhaenyra and Daemon, and they have progressed from the show through the streets to. I'm sure it's one he frequents. He seems to know his way around. They go to a
And
brothel.
he just seems to be sitting there
They go to a brothel.
where people, and they take it for like a sex show.
Yeah, it's like so most people just like watching some people hump.
Yeah, it's just like people.
In the
Yeah,
bed.
yeah.
And it's not like two people hump. Like it's really intimate. It's like bodies rolling around.
Yeah,
And everybody's just
nobody
watching.
down. Yeah, like a fucking
who's in my
rain,
mouth
like
kind
a
of a thing.
fucking yeah. Who's in my mouth? That's awesome. Yeah, like a real rainbow gathering situation. It's, it's real weird. But then she's just like fascinated by it. But then you also see other nicely dressed. I wouldn't say people that were royalty like her, obviously not. But people that were clearly like had a house on the fucking east side kind of thing were still there like, huh. Like on Spartacus, like just sitting there with their like
Yeah.
their wine glasses like,
Yeah.
oh look,
Like
he's grabbing her
look what
ass.
they do. We we
Like
can't
animals.
do that, but we can go watch it.
Yeah,
do that.
like animals. Look at it.
How can you? I don't think you can procreate if you put it in there.
Yeah, I think that's right. He's allowed to do that. So then they progress down, and he basically explains to her that this is a place where people take what they want, and that you just marry for duty and station, and then once you do that, you can fuck who you want. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, that's. Well, he says it a lot better.
Yeah, he says it a lot better.
It's like passionate. It's like, see, people want to.
And he says it all slow, and he's
you
all
don't
like,
have to fuck one person the rest of your life.
he's like grinding up.
Marriage
Like,
is political, man.
yeah, marriage is just something you do. It's not about the pleasure is good. Sex isn't just a duty. It's also something you can enjoy. And she's for some reason never thought of that. So obviously she had a really strict, proper upbringing because so all my speculations of her being wild with Allison and all that were probably not true because it seemed like that was the first time it had
That's
occurred to
why
her.
though, because they both had to have their virtue. You can't get a castle for your daughter if she's been broken in.
Okay, yeah, a hymen. So they still could have done their little girl nasty.
Yeah,
We should probably
that's
cut
true.
this out. Anyway.
No, I like it.
But either way, so she's like, oh, okay. That, you can just, okay. All right, cool. And then they kind of like start to kiss, and then they go out and do it. I thought it was a hallway, it seemed like. But like you said, there are a lot of people in there. But...
Well, there's a lot of like gray, like fabric sheets like laying around. And so it kind of, I think, makes the room look more compartmentalized than it actually is.
Yeah. And they're,
but she is up against the wall.
Oh, yeah. She slams her hands up. He has her hands like that. And then it's like, first it's her dress, and then he turns her around, and that was like, oh, it's go time. Because this shows hand against wall, and I was like, oh, damn.
And her was like,
pulls her pants
startled, but then like...
She likes it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, okay. Let's go. And then he chokes.
No, then I think she gets a little like, you want to do this, like flips herself back around. And then she just like, come on, and like starts trying to, and then like you said, he does choke or whatever. But
I don't think
she starts trying to like kiss him.
But I see, in the showrunners reference the word like impotence. I don't think he was impotent. I didn't see it that way. I'm sure he was at full attention. I think it was like, they're right. I can't do it this way. And
risk outweighs the reward.
Yeah, it's too risky.
Yeah.
So then he just stops and just leaves her like it's standing there, pants directly at her knees. Then the shirt is so cleverly placed right above the fucking secret garden. Oh yeah, I seen a fucking photo of. Okay, we'll have to get into what happens next right after this. But her and Crispin, before they shoot the scene, and they're both in their fucking bathroom.
Oh, I saw that.
And she's like smiling, and it's like, that would be so awkward. Like, you're both sitting in the towels, like, okay, we're getting ready to shoot, and like, now you guys are gonna go get naked and grind on each other. Like, sitting there talking with each other before, like, yeah, okay. No.
How professional you gotta be.
Oh, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'd be like this. I would get shy. I feel like I would get shy. I'd have to get to know the actress a long time before.
I'd be more shy and awkward before.
That's what I'm meaning. We got to talk. No, once we're getting to the kissing. Oh, that's
no. I mean before shooting, like sitting in the.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'd be like, she'd be like, so we should probably like talk and feel more comfortable. Like, no, that's not gonna make me more comfortable.
I read the scripts. I know what I'm doing.
I'm not gonna get more comfortable. There's nothing gonna be comfortable about this at all.
I hope you know what you're doing because.
But then, as he just leaves her, back to the brothel, he just leaves her, and she's just kind of looking like,
yeah,
what? Okay, and then she's like, Daemon, pulls her fucking pants up, gets running, and then there's this little kid. He's just fucking hanging out at the whorehouse, just waiting to see what politician or fucking rich guy he can blackmail coming out of that place with a dog or a sheep or a god knows what. And he's just sitting there and he sees like, and he's just, you can see it in his eyes. He's like, oh shit, like jackpot. Jackpot. And he follows her, and obviously he's I know it mentions that it shows right away that he shows back up because it shows Otto. Like it shows her sneaking back into the castle, and you hear like the dogs barking, but then you see Otto coming out, and they're like, he wanted to talk to you directly, sir. It's like, who is it? And he said, and it's somebody who works for the White Worm. Now, does that mean? You posted the question to me earlier. Does that mean that he came there before he went to the White Worm because he already works for the White Worm, or do you think he went to the White Worm and the White Worm was like, "Why don't you take it to the hand and tell him that we know, and then maybe he should know." But that seems like information he would want.
Why wouldn't they all just work for Otto if they go straight to Otto? It's got to be the kid went to the White Worm first.
Yeah.
There's no way that he went straight to Otto.
Yeah.
Unless it was predetermined, like, hang out there, and if you see the princess,
or at least the prince. Oh, the prince is back in town. He's sure to show up.
Yeah.
So you hang out there because he's sure to show up and do something fucking stupid.
But still, how'd you run to Otto with the prince showing up there?
Yeah.
Like, he wouldn't do anything. He's like, what do you... Yeah, he's there all the fucking time, you know?
I don't care.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it was
This
the
is
kid
what it
went
is.
to the worm, and then was like, take this to the hand.
And let him know that we know.
Yeah.
So then she gets back to the castle. She comes walking down the hall. Hello, and Crispin's just sitting there. Looks back. And she's like,
She
hello,
slams the door.
Crispin. Good night. And then closes the door and he's like, Princess? And she's all
Are you
fucking...
hurt?
Yeah, like dirtball and...
I'll get the...
I could swear you were inside.
Lord Commander is who he's going to go. I'll get the Lord Commander. She's like, no!
No, come here. And then she plays her little fucking cute young girl thing that...
Little fucking fox.
Yeah, the little playful fucking... Ooh, I got your hat.
You want it?
Yeah,
Come get it.
Yeah, come get it. And like, I got a job. Did you realize that they will kill me?
Yeah.
Like, do you know who you are?
This is fun to you, huh?
Yeah, and he took a vow of celibacy. I was wrong in the previous episode when I thought it was like the Night's Watch, and they say, which I think the Night's Watch is the same thing, but I thought it wasn't celibacy. I thought it just means no wife, no kids. But apparently, you can't be having sex either. So he would be breaking all of his vows.
Well, I know
that's why when he takes his cloak off, he's all...
The watchers on the wall, they do specify no father, no children. Take no
wife, father, no children, own no land.
Yeah. So you can fuck.
Yeah. So that was not specific to no fucking.
Yeah.
But celibacy is to the fucking King's Guard.
Yeah, I can see that. But Jamie breaks his vow with that, so.
Well, that's why he would have broken when he killed the king. Anyways.
Wait, so does Sir Meryn Trant. He's of the King's Guard, and Arya kills him in a fucking little girl whorehouse.
Well, yeah, but he was sneaking in there. He wasn't supposed
Oh,
to be
yeah.
there. He wasn't supposed to be there. So then it cuts to... then it shows Alicent and the king. And that is just very sad because the king is like loves her, but it's showing the age between the two, and
the physical
realities of their relationships
difference in stamina,
age,
like,
and then also how it's just like a duty for her. Like she's getting ready to go to bed.
It's an obligation.
Yeah, it's an obligation.
Quit saying duty. I can't anymore.
Okay. So she's got obligations. She's ready to go to bed, and they just show up. The king summons you, Your Grace, and she's like, "It's late." And then she's just like, "Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do? It's the king. Like he outranks you. Like I know that you can tell me what to do, but he outranks you. I can't go back and say she's not in the mood."
Did I say the king is wondering if?
Yeah, the king said, "Get your ass over here." So she has to go over there, and then she's obviously not in the moment. We'll put it that nicely way. And he even tries to like ask her, "Is everything okay?" You know,
he's giving it all he's got.
Yeah, he's giving all she's got, Captain. And isn't his name Patty in real life? Which is okay. That's awesome.
Great. The only thing that would make it better if his last name was O'Hara.
So, the next morning, the queen is there, whatever, but Otto shows up to basically be like, "Okay, sir, I got something to tell you. There's some disturbing news." And he's like, "What? The sea snake?"
Wait, I before that, real quick, I know we talked about her being coy with Chris and everything, but they fucked.
Oh yeah,
they fucked, and we said that he broke a vow, but no, they fucked.
Oh yeah,
That's good fucking.
Oh yeah, and they did it very tastefully. You can cut these two parts together.
They shot it tastefully. I don't think the characters did it tastefully.
No, they probably did it. Yeah, they did it very tastefully. Yeah, they showed it very tastefully because they like show no full on nudity of her, but they do show her like moving and hugging. So they show passion and sexual.
Wasn't it like the camera's turning or something like that?
Well, no, in the mirror, and then like close-ups of the face, and then they did do the whole side body thing where you see like his side of the thigh, the side of her thigh, the side boob, all that. but no nipple. That kind of, they did it classy as they could.
There was like a nanosecond of nipple.
They're like, okay, we're gonna show it, but then we're like, but she still does look a little young. So we're not gonna go too far away.
And in the show, she's
19.
barely old enough.
Yeah. So basically, the king, or Otto's there to tell the king, well, no, it's disturbing news about your daughter. And he's like, what'd she do? Well, she was seen running around in a pleasure house. Uh-huh. With her Uncle Daemon. And he's like, well,
speak plainly.
Yeah, he's like, you're gonna come into my bed chambers and accuse my daughter. Speak it plainly, you know. He's like, they were seen coupling.
Do I have to say it?
Yeah, must I say it? He's like, yeah, you gotta say it. Coupling, which I'm assuming means penetrating, right? That would be.
They're spooning at least.
Yeah, they were spooning in an inappropriate fashion. Well, in the bowels of a whorehouse would be inappropriate anyway. Hugging anybody that's not. You shouldn't be hugging people in bowels of whorehouses.
Unless it's a whore you paid.
Yeah. Even then, you bought the room.
Yeah.
If you paid.
Well, it was a shared room with transparent
discount.
gray fabric.
That's where you get.
Very Spartacus-y. It was nice. That was not so tastefully done.
And then so Allison is sneakily listening the whole time. Allison.
Yeah.
And basically, the king goes off. He's like, "Are you so fucking jealous of my daughter that you would have people follow her around, spy on her? You're so desperate for my throne, or for your grandson to be on the throne, that you would destroy my family?
Yeah, or at least my family's name. Or
yeah, to do it. Like, get out of it. Get out of my fucking sight. You've been lied to. It's horseshit. Get out." And then he's like, "Of course." And then Allison comes out like,
and he does say that, like, the what you call white worm is a trustworthy source. Like,
he's like, because he says, "Tell me who it is, and I'll fucking
tear their eyes out."
Yeah, tear out their eyes.
And he's like, I can't tell you who it is because they've been a reliable source, and the only way they'll keep telling me shit is if I keep their anonymity.
Yeah, it's a mutual thing. Yeah, we keep each other's secret.
Which turns out, in the next scene, you find out it's Daemon's whore.
Yeah, it's Daemon's whore. I can never pronounce it.
I don't know.
Miranda or something like that. But yeah, she's basically like, well, guess what? He's all waking up all, ugh. Now, is that just hungover? Because she does give something to cut the fuck. I think he was drugged in that whorehouse by somebody.
And he also looked like he was almost still, like, restrained.
Yeah, like, at least, like, limped out, like,
yeah.
Like, maybe they fucking threw him down the flight of stairs or something, because they were downstairs.
All I know is, like, why would he go to her, like, lair, you know?
He wouldn't have gone to her.
Yeah.
He probably asked out with some hooker, and they dragged him when he passed out back to her.
Him,
yeah. And then...
but she's the master of whispers or whatever right now. And we talked about how this obviously predates the...
Spider.
Well, and an actual, like, master of whispers, like, title, like, position, you know?
And it's probably because
of her.
Because of her.
That one is created.
Yeah, that one is created because...
Ooh, wouldn't that be great, like, a season or two down the line? Like, him coming into town and...
Varys?
Yeah, and, like, taking her out.
That would be hundreds of years of separation.
Why? Why would you say that?
Because Viserys are alive when Daenerys is alive.
Yeah, but it's not... I guess it is hundreds of years.
172 years.
How old is Viserys? Or not Viserys, Varys.
Varys? Not 172.
Because we're talking about time jumps and going down the line, right?
Well, she wouldn't still be alive.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I'm saying, let's say she's, 50, so that's 40 years gone. So that gives you 130 left. But I'm just saying that would be a cool...
Oh, yeah. You got so many little... Especially going that far ahead, you got a lot of prequels you could set up along the way.
Oh, yeah. Fucking Littlefinger.
Oh!
Like, maybe that's when, like, the veil, like, he talks about his wife or whatever. Maybe that dagger makes it to Peter somehow. Or, yeah, something like that.
It is you got a millions of untapped potential going that far ahead and still having all that in between.
Well, maybe that's why they're focused on the dagger so much.
Oh yeah.
That basically makes it into the first episode, not first episode, but the first season.
So right after they talk about that, Alicent is just waiting in the garden. So the princess is brushing her hair, and Crispin comes in, and it's awkward. Like, they both just lost their virginity. He's more uncomfortable than she is. Like, she's just like, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
and
well,
he's just
she's
like,
got no consequences.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
or
she's
little
like,
consequences.
yeah. So she's like, whatever. And then the queen wants to see you, and he's like looking stressed, like, please just don't tell her. Queen lays into her about like, my father's made some fucking troubling fucking accusations.
Yeah, heard some shit.
Yeah,
Care
heard
to
some shit.
explain?
Yeah, care to explain why you were fucking your uncle in bowels of a whorehouse? Like, whoa, where'd you come by this? Your family does that weird shit all the time.
Yeah.
So, don't act, and Daemon is obviously a fucking freak, so what's going on? She's like, nothing. I did not.
She's like, that's fucked up for anyone to even question it, but if you had to know, yeah, Damon took me out on the streets to watch a show, we drank some wine, he went to a brothel, and
we watched a
left
sex
me.
show, yeah, and then he ditched me for some whore. I came home.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, awesome. She's like, okay, well, you could have. She did, and that's where she lied. She's like, questioning my virtue is an act of treason. Who did it? It's like, my father didn't tell me. Your father didn't tell you. Your father was told.
Oh yeah,
And then
she
she's
didn't
like,
witness it. Someone came to him.
oh, so nobody. You're accusing me of stuff that nobody has verified to be seen.
Well, the Otto said to the king, he says, it's also been confirmed by others now. Like, it was brought to us first, but now others have confirmed seeing her.
Oh yeah, like little chambermaids or whatever.
Yeah.
So
And there was a lot of people staring at her when they started fucking around because her hat came off and shit.
Oh yeah, he pulls her hat off.
Yeah.
Did you think he did that on purpose? So people would see and
I
the word
think-
would be spread? He
Yeah,
does pull the hat
so
off.
later on, after he confesses to the king or whatever, and then the king and Alice are talking about it, and he goes, "Why would he confess if it never happened?" And she says it's to reduce you.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is maybe if she is known to have lost her virtue, then her
marriage
wedding
proposals.
options or proposal options are now limited.
Very
and
limited.
he's looking like a very good candidate.
Mm-hmm. Like this will at least keep the crown around.
Yeah. And he's like, fuck you.
So she lies straight through her teeth, though. Well, not really. She doesn't lie. She tells a half truth. She just leaves part of the
What
story
she
out.
says is true.
Yeah, she just leaves out
She
another
doesn't
part
tell
of
a
it.
lie, but she doesn't tell a whole truth.
Yeah, she just tells part of the story.
7/8 truth.
Yeah, she's just like, Damon never touched me. Well, no, he never got.
He never penetrated.
Yeah, he never got inside. He kissed her and
Got her all hot and bothered.
dropped her pants. But
Yeah.
it doesn't even show his hands touch her, so not necessarily.
Yeah, no, he pulls her pants down, flips her around,
And
and
that's
then
it.
chokes.
And then chokes it out. Well, that's yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's what happened in the worm's fucking den.
But she tells a half truth, and Allison's like, okay. And then Damon's just like walking into town, and the guards show up, fucking nail him in the stomach.
Snatches
Like the
ass
king
out.
wants to see you, and he's like, get your fucking hands off me. I'm like, no. And then they drag him and just drop him in the throne room. King's not on the throne. Just shows up and just fucking, my daughter, really? And I like the way they talk to each other. They talk so funny. It was like, you're not even gonna deny it. It's like, I need to know the accusation before I can properly deny it.
Probably discredited.
Yeah, to properly discredit. He's like, boom! Kicks him as hard as he can in the spine. My daughter, you defiled her. And he's like, who gives a fuck, brother?
Yeah.
When we were her age, we were fucking our way through half the brothels on the street of Silk, which contradicts what I thought. Obviously, when he says makes a man out of me in the previous episode about the wife, it meant like a good man, like a husband.
Yeah.
Not a man like a virginity like I thought. I thought that it was that pure, his love for Emma.
No. He
No,
just
I-
meant like She taught me, like he tells Otto,
to be a
you
father.
taught me to be king, you know.
Yeah.
Like, he gives credit where credit's due.
So he's basically, the mother taught him how to be like a good man, a king, a humble person, that kind of
and
thing.
to probably be a one man. Or
A woman man. Yeah, okay. Because that kind of contradicted it at first, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's what that means. Because he's like, yeah, but we were young men. She's a girl. Girls can't just walk. And it's like it is today. The girls have always been bitching about the double standard. Walking around like, oh, it's cool if you fucked 12 chicks, but if I fucked 5 dudes, I'm fucking double as bad as you, even though I got half the amount.
Yeah.
Half the amount. It's like, yeah, well, that's just the way it was.
Yeah.
Not now, don't worry. It's all changed now.
If a key opens many doors, it's thought of as a good key. If a door is opened by any key, that's a shitty door.
Yeah, it does. It's not very solid, is
Yeah.
it? It just lets anybody in.
You know who you are.
So then he basically says, marry her to me. It's like, what? You're already married. Like, but no, who cares? Aegon, that didn't stop Aegon the Conqueror from taking the second queen. And he's like, you are no conqueror. You're a plague sent to destroy me.
Yeah. Well, then there's also, he mentions a part where he's like, this, I've heard it from people, what people think or something like that. He's like, who gives a
Oh yeah, no,
fuck?
he says you defiled her. What lord will want her now? He goes, who gives a fuck what any lord thinks? You are the dragon. Your word is truth and law.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Daemon knows the fucking weight of his name.
Yeah, like you're wasting it. Like, I get it. Peace is a good thing to have, but it should be backed with knowing that if peace is not kept, we're still here to fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
And we still will.
How did I arrive here?
Yeah.
On a fucking dragon.
Yeah, and what did I do? What you wouldn't do in the Stepstones. Something that no king has ever done. Conquered it. Well, no, they said that Kev never kept it.
Yeah.
So they've obviously conquered it before. Either way, something you weren't willing to do, I went and fucking handled.
Yeah.
To show them that you don't stand up against your king. We left him burning on the fucking sand.
Yeah.
So yeah, he holds the
Chained him
name.
up in the
He
sand.
holds the honor of the name into a different regard.
Which also bugged me, like you said. He's like, you are no conqueror. I'm like, yeah, right after he gets back from fucking shit up in the Stepstones.
Yeah, from conquering the Stepstones for somebody else. And then he basically wants to marry off to her, and he's like, no, you're gonna go back to your fucking wife
In the Vale.
and you're gonna try to maintain whatever fucking dignity and honor you have left, or don't. I don't give a shit. Just get the fuck out of here.
For the second time, I never want to see you.
Yeah, and I never want to see you again. And it's like, okay, bro, whatever. And he's just kind of,
And he just rolls back over and lays
yeah.
back
After
down,
he's like, he got kicked.
thrown on the floor.
Yeah, like, oh fuck, it's cold. Feels good. He's hungover. He just got the shit kicked out of him by his older brother.
And he's drugged and probably the shit kicked out of the night before.
Yeah. So then it shows the princess meeting up with the king. And Crispin's there to let her in there too. And then as that door is closing, they look and make eye contact again. He is so fucking terrified at that point.
Please.
He's like,
Keep
okay,
my name out of your fucking mouth.
now your dad's gonna do it like you don't understand. I've broken my vows. This is punishable by death. And I not only did I break my vows, but I broke them with the king's daughter, defiling her and making her unwanted by everybody. Like, this is major. I will go. My name will be in the books, all right. But it will be
I'm
a
also
very
wondering
bad
with,
thing.
how he's doesn't talk to her at all. Like when she's summoned and shit by Allison. I'm wondering if maybe he heard about the rumor of her and Damon, and he's like, "Did you go and get fucking dicked down by your uncle?" And then be like, "That was nice. I want some more."
Oh damn! I got a sloppy seconds from your uncle.
Yeah.
The fuck? You know how many whores he's been with?
I thought you smelled a little off tonight. No, you smell.
You know how many whores he's been with? That's not cool. We were virgins, man. Well, I was. Like, it wasn't your first time. It was mine. You just fucking screwed me. And they're gonna cut my head off tomorrow when they find out I did this.
I get raped and then I get punished for it?
Yeah. You wouldn't give me back. And they're not going to believe that she wouldn't give me back my helmet story. Like, yeah, okay. So they meet up, and the first thing he says is the dagger, because the dagger's just sitting there in flames, and he's got it heating up for a reason.
Well, she goes in to look at it. She doesn't even know he's in there.
Yeah, and then he just kind of bolts at her.
Pops out of nowhere.
And it's like, that's where the pyromancers put the song in there. And then she looks at it.
The prophecy.
Yeah, the prophecy, and she reads it, my son will be the son that's in the song, and his song will be the song of ice and fire. And he tells her that is more important than her, or no, him. No, he starts out with, it's more important than me, my throne, anything.
My heirs.
Well,
I guess not my heirs, but
more than you and more than any king and your desires, is how he finishes it. And she's like, whoa. Like, I know what you've been doing. She's like, you're not even going to give me a chance to deny the lie? And he's like, it doesn't matter what's truth and lies. Everybody's saying it's like, once it's written, it's written. Like nowadays, once it's on the internet, it's there for life.
Well, not only that, it's like today, it's like when somebody gets charged with something,
you automatically assume.
They put it out in the news, and that charge is there forever. Like, it doesn't matter if you get cleared of it, you were accused.
Yeah, and you are all over. People make their judgment based on that off the bat.
Sides are taken right off
the bat. Like, oh yeah, she totally did it. Or people going, no, she kept her virtue. No, fuck that. The Targaryens are weirdos. She definitely did it.
Yeah, I think in the case of, like, heinous crimes, they should definitely not be able to make it all public until it's all figured out,
So basically, she's like, oh, and he's like, okay, so your mother understood this. You need to understand this. It needs to happen. Okay, you need to get married. So you're going to marry the fucking Prince Valerion, the son of Sea Snake. And he's like, yeah. She's like, to cure your political headache. I was like, you're my political headache.
Yeah.
God. Like, I wouldn't be having this stress if you would have just married years ago. It's happening. Just fucking accept it. And she's like, all right, fine. And I think the only reason she does is because she knows I almost fucked up. People are watching me. I got fucking Twitter pated with my uncle in a basement, and it hadn't even occurred to me that I could have been being watched. I need to fucking settle this. I need to fucking get this marriage thing done. And Daemon did point out to her a good thing. Okay, I will marry him. Maybe he's cute. Have him a couple of babies, and I'll still fuck whoever I want. Daemon made it very clear that it's easy.
I'm the heir so far,
yeah.
So.
And I can fucking do it all. All I gotta do is be quiet about it. I think I can do that.
Yeah.
I'll marry. And then she's like, but your hand has got people following me around, questioning my virtue.
Yeah.
Uncool.
He's a little too self-interested to be in that position.
Yeah, you don't think about that? Like, and then I think that's when he starts thinking about it.
Well, with the king, he said his initial replies before he thinks too deep on it, he's like, everyone on the council for all of fucking time has been self-interested.
Yeah.
There's no man in that seat or that position of power who did get there by being selfless, And she's like, yeah, but it goes beyond that.
Yeah,
she's like,
it's too far.
Yeah, he's crossed over a line or into a different realm of self-entitlement where it's affecting...
Yeah, where he's thinking he's almost in charge.
Yeah.
He's sending people after me without your consent to follow me around and accuse me of things. Anything he can to get Aegon on the throne and me out of here.
Yep.
So that his grandson will be on the throne,
and think about this. If you hadn't named me, if he had his kid before you named anyone, then he would have probably killed you.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of keeping you around? His kid is next in line. There's no other heir in between.
Nobody would question it.
Whack him, and then it's done.
Yeah.
So
basically, she's like, okay, I will do this, but you got to do your duty as king.
Yeah.
And it doesn't say what it is, but then it goes right to Otto just showing up in the morning. And he's like, 5 days. 5 days. My father was a dragon rider at the prime of his life. He had just been named he was just going to be named the new hand of the king, like King Viserys or whatever. And then 5 days later, he was dead.
And you became hand.
And you were named hand. Pretty good day for you. I didn't see it that way. I saw it as a duty.
Day of mourning or whatever. Duty.
Okay. 5 days later, it is a little odd. And then he realizes, okay. Well, he already had realized, and I think that's why I was saying, like, when she said that to him, and all the things we just talked about, he started to realize all these things he's talked about. My dad you served right next to my dad. My dad was going to be hand, and he was at the prime of his life. Then he suddenly gets a belly sickness.
Yeah, a strong, dragon riding warrior man, all of a sudden, the first time in his life, is taken out by being sick.
Mm-hmm. And he was always big now about having the son. You got to have a son. And then he realizes, okay, Alicent got me through the worst of my grief. I'll never forget Emma as long as I live, but Alicent got me through the worst of my grief. And he goes, that was a calculated distraction. I just didn't realize how calculated.
How well calculated until now, yeah.
Like, you sent your daughter to woo me and make me forget about my life and get your bloodline in here to take over my spot.
Yeah.
Like, you no longer serve the realm. You can no longer be trusted.
Yep, you serve yourself.
You've done well, and we owe you a debt. But I can't trust you anymore. And he takes the fucking thing off, and Otto's just like it's almost like he was sad. He looked sad at first.
It's a hand's duty to give the king bad news.
Yeah, and he's like,
it's not just bad news too.
Yeah, it's you went wrong there.
Which again, I did last time I recorded this, and I do it again. He says earlier in the episode, you think yourself a cunning man?
Yeah, you're not that cunning.
Yeah.
So do you think he knew it right then? He started to realize it right then.
No, I think that he changed his mind about Otto between those two times.
Yeah.
So, like, he didn't think he was that cunning. He's like, you're not that guy, pal, you know?
And then he thought about it.
And then after she says, look at fucking...
the situation you're in.
Yeah.
High tower babies everywhere.
Yeah, okay. And I'm getting fucking falling around until I slip up a little bit.
And and guess what? Then we're out in the Hightower family's in.
Yeah.
It may have your name right now, but it's going to be raised by the Hightowers when you kick the bucket.
Yeah. And the only reason why you haven't been forced to kick bucket was... And he goes, wait, my dad was forced to kick the bucket.
Yeah, then he started thinking, wait a minute.
He's like, he is a fucking cunning motherfucker, you know?
Like, oh my God. That son of a bitch. So he tells him basically, you got the 5 days, which I thought was like was basically like accusing him, poetic, and accusing him basically of his dad's death by being like, you got 5 days, because my dad died in 5 days after he was supposed to be named hand. You got 5 days after I've taken your hand of the kingpin. You got 5 days to basically get back to Hightower and be gone.
Get the fuck out of here. All right, so I didn't do this last time. Who do you think is going to be him?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Also, who do you think is going to be Master of Ships if Corlys isn't on the Small Council?
Well, I think he's bringing Corlys back into the fold. Maybe the naming of the hand might be the issue at the wedding. I don't know.
Do you think Corlys's wife is still in town?
I know that she's not in King's Landing, but she's with the... they would have fucking dragged her in to explain her husband's fucking crimes for disobeying the king. I'm sure she went back to Driftwood too. Even if she's relatives of the king, you still fucking answer your husband.
I don't think.
Has she started getting that she's above it?
Well, no, not just that, but it was like it's been years. Since that happened.
Yeah, but if you've been
it's handled now. Mm-hmm. Daemon came back and nothing happened.
I think they would have made a bigger deal about seeing her again. But I think that's a good point. Will it be that guy that was pushing the Sea Stake agenda? The one that seems to be giving him the advice that he's been taking?
Strong being him?
Yeah.
I think he'll give it to Strong.
So it's either... I would...
uses Rhaenyra.
Strong. No, she's named to be heir. She's not being discredited. She can't be hand of the king to become king.
Really?
I don't think so. Wouldn't that be steering the kingdom in her own?
It's like Aegon's my hand. Yeah, 3-year-old hand.
Here, point which one is which. Which one gets to have food and which one gets to starve.
Yeah. Which country are we burning today?
Yes. So that's an excellent question. I wonder, maybe that Lannister, but the Lannister was shown to be nervous.
Baratheon, that's the cousin.
Ooh, it did show him, and he's like, it showed him a couple of times being wise.
And yeah,
And, like,
he was
sitting-
helping the king do the tour and shit, and he was there at the tournament.
Yeah, and he was helping the princess do the tour, and set up the Night's Watch guy too, or not the Night's Watch, the King's Guard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or it could be, well, he's the Lord Commander, but I guess they could give him hand. That bald guy that was, yeah.
But so then it ends with obviously the king's disbelief in the princess's story. He acted all nice, and was like, I don't want to hear whether it's true or not. But it still kind of ended on the note where it seemed like, okay, I'll take your word. I'll trust you this time. You didn't fool around with your uncle. But then it is proved that he did not believe that because he does not know about Crispin, and he still sent the baster to her room with a Plan B tea. Like, she's like, what is it? Brewed properly. What is it? He's like, a tea. To get rid of any unwanted consequences. And she's like, and she kind of looks like hurt, like, oh. So, and that's basically him telling her, okay, I did what you wanted me to do.
Yeah.
I got rid of Otto. He's long gone. He won't bother you anymore. Now you're going to make sure, and you're going to give me my peace of mind by flushing out whatever the hell might be in there.
Right.
Okay, you say there's nothing, fine. Okay, if there's nothing in there, there's nothing to worry about. Just drink it.
Yep.
If there's not killing anything, then if there's nothing to worry about, drink it.
Yeah.
And she's like, motherfucker.
What if Lannister becomes king?
That's what I was wondering too. But the one that was on the council looked like the nervous one. Do you think he could still be it, even though he's nervous? Because he was giving advice about like the stepstones. He was trying to.
That's what I think. I don't think he's as. I don't know.
He might be chosen. Because
I think he was only nervous because he knew that
it was bad news.
Not only that, but it was at a time the king didn't want to hear news. He was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
fucking
I'm already irritated with my daughter.
Yeah, I'm not managing to get together. Like,
Yeah.
This isn't business right now.
I don't need to hear it. I'm trying to eat.
Yeah.
I'm trying to drink. I'm trying to hunt.
So I think maybe he could.
That'd be a good one.
I don't know. The small council might be pissed. It seems like a big leap for him.
Well, he's been on it for a year or so since Daemon's been gone. All the people have been gone. Seems to look like he took Cora's
Who
spot.
does the king trust in besides
It
the
looks like
Hightowers?
You got the Strongs. You got the Lannisters. You did see that one guy. Lannister was on the council now, so I bet he took Corellis' spot. But he couldn't be master of ships. Master of coin.
There's some shuffling around.
Master of laws.
Like we said, Rhaenyra was there too, not serving cups.
Master of laws, I think, is what the Lannister is. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, that's up on the next one. And they declared that the wedding will be next, like in the next up on.
Yeah.
And it looks like shit's fucking popping off. And like we said, it's goodbye to Millie after this next episode. It says so. That sucks.
You served our season well.
That is awesome. You were a great actress. You're very lovely. Even though you look a little young, you are very lovely. But yeah, she's gonna be toast. Does that mean Allison's toast too? Obviously.
Yeah, I think so. Because I've been seeing like the new character or the new actresses.
Credits, yeah. So.
Well, not the credits, but just like them showing their faces.
But you know what? That might open up to more brutality and versatile in acting because they're older.
And less guilty sex scenes.
Oh, definitely. You're definitely going to see fucking Daemon and her get down. And it's still going to be awkward because you know they're related, but Game of Thrones has never shied away from that with Jaime and Cersei. But now it's going to be less weird because she doesn't look 15.
And Daenerys and Jon. That was that was an uncle. Or aunt, nephew situation.
Aunt, nephew situation. Targaryens. Targaryens be fucking, man.
From Alabama or something.
And that's the show.